Hey Martin. Okay, so here we go. This is just sort of loose on here. I didn't really put that on very tightly. So there we go. That took some real work to do. See how nice and clean and shiny it is now? This was, the watch had received some, I don't know. It had been worked on before, but the person tried to solve some of the problems the watch had, and they hadn't done a very good job. As I talked about in your initial video, your barrel had this big line of brassing around here. Actually, the inside of the barrel wasn't bad, and so I kept it. I'm not a fan of replacing parts unless they're actually bad, and this is just cosmetic, so I don't care. But the lower mainspring arbor port, which I told you was very, very worn, was not only very worn, but there was also a bad attempt at a repair. The guy had taken a staking press punch, which sort of a hollow circle, and he tried to sort of whack that on there to kind of get the hole to close up, and it hadn't done what he'd wanted it to do, and in fact what it had done was damage to the plate. So we had to, I had to install a bushing in the lower mainspring arbor port, but I've done that, and it's now nice and tight. I also had a repair to the upper bushing in the train bridge, but you can see how nice it looks, how nice and clean. Oh, nice and clean. There it is. Okay, so let's put this case back on here. Actually, one thing I did want to show you. There's one thing I would consider changing. This is an early 6105, so it has the early one-piece spring movement ring. These are nowhere near as effective in holding the movement steady as the later version, which Seiko introduced in like 2 months, if that, maybe a month, which is the standard two-part movement ring that has the separate spring. So rather than being a compressible piece of metal like that, it's actually it's a spring, and it's just a better setup. I do have those new old stock. So let me know if you want to have me do that for you. There, I'll just snug that down. Okay, so here's what it looks like now. This is the new lume that I told you about. The new special lume. This is the first time that anybody has seen it. This is the first time I've ever used it on a customer watch. This is the first time I've ever put it out in public that I can do this. But this replicates old original Seiko lume. The sweep hand, this is new old stocks. This is original Seiko lume. The hands and the dial are my vintage lume. I don't know what I'll call it. VintaLume? I don't know. But it always frustrated me having to relume these things, and because if you use straight modern lume, it glows so brightly that the lume has this weird green look to it, which I don't like. And so I've been trying for, gosh, probably the better part of a year on and off to perfect a method by which I can replicate older Seiko lume. So this does glow, but only a tiny amount. Very, very, very small amount. I hesitate to use this lume very often, except on watches where it's really called for, like something like this. So that is my vintage lume, my new vintage lume that I created. Here's your old handset. By the way, this is an original handset. That's not a reproduction handset. For this watch, I broke out in my supplies, and that's an original handset that I cleaned out and relumed with this vintage lume of mine. Anyway, here are your old hands. There they are. Also, your this little baby here. This is the winding wheel. That was bad, so that had to be replaced. There's your old crown seal. So your crown seal is new. And here are these two seals. So there it is. I put in a type 1 crystal because I believe we had talked about that. So this is the high type 1 crystal. If you're not down for that, if you want to go slightly later, you can put in a type 2, but this would have come with a type 1. But I'll do whatever you really want me to do. Anyway, I'm pretty proud of that. I was really hesitant about doing this for a customer on a customer watch or any watch that I was going to sell, because it's so easy to abuse this lume, because this watch could be turned around and sold as stock. And so that's, you know, it's a very serious specialty restoration technique that only I have, that I created, and I'll only use it on the right watch. I'm not going to do it on every watch. But on the right watch, I'll do it, where the watch itself will be restored, so it's the best restoration that I can do. But there it is. Okay, Martin, you let me know what you want me to do with that movement ring spring, okay? Other than that, the watch is ready to go. Okay, thank you.